The gunman's voice ripped through the silence. Everybody down. Crystal stemware exploded against marble floors. Diners screamed, crawling under tables that moments ago held caviar and candlelight. But amid the chaos, Maya Chen moved differently. Her heart was pounding, yes, but her hands stayed steady. Years of hiding her fear had taught her that panic solves nothing. She took one step forward, the sound of her shoes clicking softly against the floor as the scar-faced leader swung his pistol toward her. Ooh, ponytail girl. Start collecting their money. Now. Maya's eyes flicked once, to the exit, the reflection in the glass, the trembling waiter ducked beside the bar. She lifted her hands, voice calm. Okay. Just don't hurt anyone. From across the room, Alexander Thornfield couldn't look away. Billionaires like him were used to being in control. Numbers, people, entire industries bent to his will. But this woman's stillness in the face of danger unsettled him in ways he didn't understand. Maya stepped closer to the gunman, her tone soothing. Take what you need. No one's going to stop you. Smart girl, the leader sneered. Now move faster. She smiled faintly. As you wish. Her body shifted, barely noticeable but precise. Then, in one clean motion, she flipped the marble side table into his chest, swept the second man's legs, and dove behind the bar before anyone could process what had happened. The first robber hit the floor hard. The second tried to stand, but Maya was already there. Elbow sharp, movement surgical. 30 seconds. 3 armed men. Silence. The only sound left was the hum of the chandelier. Maya straightened her uniform, hair falling loose over her shoulder. I'm sorry about the mess, she said softly. Alexander blinked. Are you apologizing for saving everyone's life? For the property damage, she replied. Cleaning marble is a nightmare. Cameras flashed as diners pulled out phones. The billionaire who owned half the city's skyline stood frozen, while the waitress he'd never noticed just rewrote the meaning of courage. 2 hours later, police sirens faded. The restaurant returned to uneasy normalcy, but Alexander couldn't forget her face. The composure, the precision, the quiet sadness hiding behind it. When he found her in the employee hallway, she was polishing wine glasses as if nothing had happened. You fought like someone who's been trained, he said quietly. She didn't look up. Maybe I just hate bad manners. That's not something you learn on YouTube. Her gaze lifted, dark, unreadable. Then maybe I've had good teachers. He wanted to ask more, but something in her tone stopped him. Beneath that calm, he sensed walls built out of old fear and survival. The next morning, headlines spread across social media. Waitress disarms armed robbers in Midtown restaurant. Owner calls her a hero. Maya didn't read them. She was already back at work before sunrise, scrubbing tables until her fingers ached. The attention terrified her. Attention meant exposure, and exposure meant danger. When Alexander showed up again, unannounced, dressed down in a gray sweater instead of his usual suit, she didn't hide her annoyance. Is this another inspection, sir? Call me Alex, he said. And no. I just wanted to see how you're doing. I'm fine. You were almost killed. It's not the first time. He froze. The way she said it, quiet, factual, made it sound like she wasn't exaggerating. Maya, he said slowly, if you're in danger I can help. She shook her head. People like you help until it costs something. That night he couldn't sleep. He kept seeing the moment she stood against the gunman, unshaken, defiant. For the first time in years he wanted to understand someone. Not to control, not to impress, but to know. 3 nights later he found her again, this time outside the restaurant, under the flicker of a street lamp. She was practicing, her body slicing through the cold night air with silent precision. Kicks, turns, strikes too perfect to be random. When she noticed him, she didn't flinch. You shouldn't be here. I could say the same. This isn't a hobby, she warned. I can see that. He stepped closer. Who are you really? She hesitated. Then softly. Someone who spent 4 years trying not to be found. Her story came out in fragments, family debt, an arranged marriage to a violent man, a decision to run. The years spent changing her name, moving from city to city. Every time I stay too long they find me, she said. So I keep moving. Alex's jaw tightened. You're not running anymore. Not while I'm here. She laughed bitterly. You can't buy protection from people like them. Watch me. The next day, her manager pulled her aside, pale and trembling. Maya, immigration called. They're investigating your papers. Her blood ran cold. Someone tipped them off, he whispered. She didn't need to ask who. Marcus Webb, Alexander's partner, had watched her with hostility since the night of the robbery. Maya packed her things that night. Her bag was light. She'd learned not to get attached to belongings. But before she could leave, a knock echoed at the door. Alex stood there, rain dripping from his hair. You're running again, he said. I don't have a choice. You always have a choice. Let me fight this. If you do, they'll come after you. Then let them. His voice broke through her defenses. Why? She whispered. Because for the first time, someone looked at me and didn't see a price tag. For a moment, the room was quiet except for the sound of rain. Then she whispered, 24 hours. That's all I'll give you. By dawn Maya was gone. Her apartment empty. Only the faint scent of jasmine remained. But Alex wasn't giving up. He tracked down the paper trail, the offshore accounts. The shadow company Marcus had used to funnel money to the man who once claimed Maya as his property. When Alex confronted Marcus in his glass-walled office, the city lights behind them looked like fire. You sold her out, Alex said. Marcus didn't deny it. You're risking $40 million for a waitress. I'm risking it for a person. Marcus smirked. You think she told you the truth? Even her name is fake. Alex's hand clenched around the folder he was holding. Then I'll protect her, no matter what name she uses. Hours later, Maya was found beaten in an alley. Alive but barely. Alex reached the hospital before the doctors even finished patching her up. Her lips were split, her ribs fractured, but her first words when she woke were, "Did they hurt anyone else?" He couldn't speak. He just took her hand. Detective Martinez entered, holding a photo covered in Chinese calligraphy. This was in her jacket, she said. The translation read, "The runaway bride returns, or those who shelter her will pay." That was the moment Alex stopped being a businessman and became a man on a mission. The meeting with her pursuer happened in the same restaurant where it all began. Jiang Wei, immaculate suit, cold smile, sat across from Alex as if they were negotiating a contract instead of a human life. "She belongs to me," Jiang said calmly. "She belongs to no one. Her family sold her. Paid. This is business. Then let's make it business." Alex slid a document across the table. "You get your money back, plus interest. 8 million. In return, you release her and drop the charges against her grandfather." Jiang's eyes flickered with greed. "And what makes you think I'll honor that?" "Because this meeting is being live-streamed," Alex said quietly, glancing toward the security cameras. "Your reputation means everything to you. The world's watching which kind of man you really are." For the first time, Jiang's composure cracked. He took the deal, but his empire didn't survive the fallout. The leaked recording went viral within hours, exposing a network of corruption and trafficking disguised as arranged marriage contracts. Weeks later, Maya walked through the restaurant's doors again, this time not as a server, but as a guest of honor. Her hair loose, her posture steady. The staff clapped quietly as she entered. Alexander waited by the window, holding 2 cups of tea. "Green tea?" she asked, smiling faintly. "Earl Grey. I'm learning your habits." She laughed, a sound soft but real. "So what happens now?" "Now," he said, "you stop running." For a moment, silence settled between them, peaceful, fragile. But across the city, Marcus Webb watched the same news broadcast that had ruined his reputation. The FBI had already frozen his accounts. His phone buzzed with calls from furious investors. "Mr. Webb," the agent said as they cuffed him, "you're under arrest for conspiracy and aiding human trafficking." Marcus's smirk faded for the first time in years. The cameras caught it, the same cameras that had once recorded Maya's courage. And somewhere between justice and redemption, one truth became clear. The waitress who stood fearless during a robbery had just rewritten the meaning of power. The moment the first scream tore through the restaurant, every glass shattered but one, hers. Maya Chen didn't duck, didn't cry out. She stood frozen in the golden light of Manhattan's most expensive dining room, eyes locked on the man with the gun. "You," the robber barked, waving his weapon toward her. "Start collecting their cash." She nodded once, calm, too calm. From his corner table, billionaire Alexander Thornfield felt his world tilt. While guests sobbed and begged, the waitress moved with the quiet precision of someone who'd seen chaos before. Her hands trembled only when she reached for the silver tray, and then stopped trembling altogether. What she did next would change everything, about the robbery, about who she was, and about the man who thought he owned the room. Because in 30 seconds, the billionaire would realize, the bravest soul in that restaurant wasn't the one with power or money. It was the girl everyone overlooked. Stay until the end, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where real courage speaks louder than fear. When the cameras stopped flashing and the world moved on, Maya finally exhaled. 4 years she'd lived like a ghost, running, hiding, surviving. But standing in the soft glow of the restaurant she once cleaned, she realized survival wasn't enough anymore. She wanted peace. She wanted a life that belonged to her. Across the room, Alex spoke quietly with a reporter, his tone calm, his eyes steady. He didn't look like the billionaire the world knew. He looked human, changed. Maybe courage had a way of transforming more than just the person who showed it. Maya smiled, a real one this time. The city outside still roared with noise and ambition, but for the first time it didn't scare her. She'd faced power and found her own. As the lights dimmed, she whispered to herself, "No more running." Then she turned off the last light and stepped into the morning sun. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where real courage finds its voice.